Hello and welcome to Balls and Brew, the flagship sports podcast of the Morgan You Know Podcast Network. My name is Rod Morgan. I'm the host of most all the podcasts around this parts. This is a very special episode of Balls and Brew. This is the beginning of something we will do 80% of the time, every time for the rest of the NFL season. We will just strictly talk NFL. We will get picks from our handicapper, Josh Williams, and my guy, Chris King, who tends to be at my side anytime we do a podcast. He will be riding along with me. So joining us from North Carolina, but he's not a Panthers fan. He's a Cowboys fan and a Colts fan. It's Chris King.
Hello, Internet. Hey, Rod. How's it going?
Pretty good. And of course, if we're talking football, it's that time of year where he shines, where he's excited. I literally think you can get light beaming from the smile that is across Mr. Williams' face all the time. He's our handicapper. We used to call him the Anonymous Gambler. He's Josh Williams up here in South Bend, Indiana. Josh, hello.
What's up, Rod? It's week one. I had a great week last week. Had some deep fried Oreos at the Blueberry Festival.
Did ya?
Yeah. Chopped a little poker tournament for first place, so that was good. I'm ready for football. Let's go.
Okay, along those lines, we are just 1 week away from your preseason predictions. And Mr. Williams, I know you are a man who digs into the minutia. Are you already worried about a preseason prediction that you made last week? And do you want to backtrack on anything 1 week later?
That's a good question. I mean, the 25-1, it's good odds on Burrow leading the league in passing yards. I am a little worried about the offensive line and occasional dropsies from Jamar Chase in the preseason. Like, I don't know what's up with that. So I'm a little worried about him getting off to a slow start. But other than that, no, the division winners I feel good about. I feel good about you guys both fading the Pats to make the playoffs. I think that's a lock right now. I'm super confident I'm going to get one leg up on you guys with the Pats making the playoffs. So, yeah, let's go.
But I'm super biased as far as that goes. Like,
That's true.
You're never going to hear me talking any Patriots on this podcast. It's just never going to happen. But let me ask myself how worried I am about the Ravens pick to win the AFC North after they just lost Gus Edwards, their running back, for the entire year. Mr. Williams, tell us about the ramifications.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I will have something on the Ravens a little later on, but this Gus Edwards going down, that sucks for him. He was going to be the number one back going into the season now after J.K. Dobbins went down. So now we're down to like Tyson Williams, and I was fortunate enough to draft him in my fantasy league. I know you drafted Gus Edwards, so you're on the other end. So now you're thinking about maybe possibly trading for him. It's tough. I think we're going to have to wait and see how they play that out. Baltimore is usually a 60-40 split with their running backs. I think they're the only team in the NFL over the last 3 years that has not had RB have at least 70% of their rushing attempts in a single game over 3 years. That's crazy. So they do like to split up the carries. Now the question is, does Lev Bell have anything left, because they signed Lev Bell to back up Tyson Williams?
Let's get to that, because he's like almost free basically on my waiver wire right now. Let's get to that. It's basically what you're telling me, I think, here, if I can read between the lines, that the Ravens is going to be a running back graveyard situation for fantasy. They're just going to be trucking dudes through all year. That's what you think, right?
Well, I mean, I think Tyson Williams does have some upside because they run it more than any other team in the league. I mean, they run it more than the Titans, which was crazy. But, I mean, Lamar can only take so many hits. So I think right now, if he's basically free, I think you probably have to go pick up Lev Bell and just see how he works out. So I know it's not off to a great start for your fantasy team, but yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
All right. Well, listen, I'm happy that we can get a little more fantasy information out of you now that the draft is over. I'm really excited about that you're not just going to completely dodge any fantasy question I give you now, Mr. Williams. That's exciting for the podcast.
Yeah. I was loving the Kyle Pitts. I didn't want to give anything away. But
no, everybody knows. Everybody that listened knows you didn't want to give a thing away about fantasy, and that's fine. We were talking about Lamar Jackson, how he can't take so many hits. He's been in the running for MVP before. Could he be back in the running for MVP this year? Mr. King, let's talk MVP. I know you got some odds for us. Let's go.
All right, so there is a few people at the top of the list, and it's really, I think, this is about it. You got your Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson. I would put probably Russell Wilson in that group too. And that's probably about it for your real MVP odds. Of course, Patrick Mahomes is the favorite right now at plus 600. You can get Lamar Jackson right now at plus 1,800.
Mr. Williams, what do you think? Do you like Lamar's number at plus 1,800? I know you've liked him in the past. Now we got no running game in Baltimore. Does that help hurt his MVP chances?
That's tough, man. Like, I don't feel like a good mojo is starting off with this Ravens team, man. This Ravens team reminds me of the San Francisco team from last year when they just had a bunch of injuries, just nonstop. And now you've had Lamar coming off COVID. We saw how rusty and just bewildered that Cam looked last year after he came off from COVID. And there's been some other players that have said, "Yeah, I was just totally drained coming off COVID." So I'm a little skeptical on Lamar this year with 18-1.
All right, Chris, who else we got behind Lamar? Because, of course, Mahomes is the favorite. And I love Patrick Mahomes. Everybody does. But it's not even cool to say you're picking him for MVP. And, of course, he's got, the odds aren't going to get you a bunch of money. So who else we got?
So you got Russell Wilson. He's at plus 2,000.
Hustle and bustle. Hustle and bustle. Let him cook.
Yeah. Herbert's at plus 2,200.
Herbert.
The top running back is Derrick Henry, and he's plus 5,000.
Don't even bet that. There's been one running back in the last 9 years, right, Mr. Williams? That's one MVP, isn't it? 8 out of the last 9 MVPs have all been quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think going back to like 2007, I think there's only been one, and that was the historic AP year. And you got to think that Derrick Henry at some point is going to slow down a little bit. And they added A.J. Brown in the offseason, so you got to think he's going to have a good year too. So I don't know if Derrick Henry is the right choice there at running back.
I love that you mentioned they added A.J. Brown. Again, when you're a receiver and it's just over for you, it's over. We didn't even mention that they got Julio at Tennessee now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Julio. They added Julio. They still have A.J. Brown. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's like Larry Fitz. Larry Fitz is still in the NFL, isn't he? We don't talk about him anymore either. You know what I mean? When you're an old receiver, it's over and done for you, and we're just not worried about it anymore. But Herbert, that's crazy talk to me. Chris, who of those people you just named do you like the most?
I really only see Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers really there at the end. I know it's boring. I know you want me to take a hot take, and
I do.
I won't give Dak Prescott because I am a homer.
That's a homer pick. That's not a hot take. That's a homer take.
I would pick, if I was looking for a little bit of a longer shot, I would pick a Matt Ryan at plus 5,000.
Wow, Mr. Williams. How about that call for a hot one? Who do you like for MVP, Mr. Williams?
Man, if the Falcons had a better defense, I would love that pick because you got to pick a quarterback who's going to finish first in the division, or if not first, got to win like 12 or 13 games. And I think the Falcons' offense is going to be fantasy friendly this year, but I just think their defense is going to let them down. So I mean, it's not sexy at all, but I think there's still value in Josh Allen at 12-1 to win the MVP. This team is going to chuck it and chuck it and chuck it some more. Brian Daboll is a fantastic offensive coordinator. He started using more pre-snap motion last year. Josh Allen had his best adjusted efficiency percentage throws last year. They throw it on first down more than any other team in the first 3 quarters. I mean, this team is going to pass it and chuck it all game long. They got 4 good receivers. Josh Allen's going to put up some awesome numbers this year, and Buffalo should win that division. So,
all right. So Chris is going with Chris. You gave us a long shot pick. Who's your actual MVP pick that I can write down?
Patrick Mahomes.
All right. Chris is going with Mahomes. Williams, is that your actual pick, or are you just telling us you like that one?
God, you know what? I'm going to go down narrative street. I'm going to say, with the easy schedule and with how Aaron Rodgers won the MVP last year, I think they're going to give it to another old man. I think they're going to give it to Tom Brady, his 3rd MVP. You know, Peyton's got 5? I think the voters are going to say, man, if the Bucs go like 14-3, Brady puts up ridiculous numbers. He's got an easier schedule than last year. I can see the voters giving the sentimental pick MVP to Tom Brady.
All right, I like that. That's a good pick. As much as I don't like Tom Brady, I like the narrative. Narrative is huge, and you gave all the other reasons is what a MVP person has to have, and certainly Brady's going to fit that criteria. But a guy that's going to fit that criteria, and also I think feeds into the narrative you were talking a little bit about, Mr. Williams, except the fact that he's not old. But people are going to say to themselves at one point, how does Russell Wilson not have an MVP? And if you look at our picks, I have them winning the West. Chris has them winning the West, and I believe, Mr. Williams, you have them in the playoffs as a wild card. So they might not win as many games as you say an MVP needs to have, but Russell could have 400 yards rushing and 6 rushing touchdowns and 35 passing touchdowns and 3,500 yards. I mean, I just give me Russell Wilson as my MVP pick is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I love that, man. I would love for them to just let Russ cook, let him open up the offense. All the signs and the rumors from this preseason are saying that they're going to go super up tempo, and that's what you should do when you have a quarterback that good. I mean, is there a better watch on when you're watching on the red zone or on Sunday afternoon?
He's the best.
When Russ is down by 4 with a minute 38 left, starting from his own 17. I mean, is there a better watch than that guy? I mean, a 2-minute drill. He's fantastic.
He's a good quarterback, but he's also going to take that mantle from Phillip Rivers because we're all going to miss that, right? Like every game Rivers ever played, he was in it with a score away one way or another in the fourth quarter all the time. Now, rarely would he get down the field and get it, and Russell's gotten down there and gotten it more often, but he just always would look, and Rivers would be doing some angry thing with his arms, and he'd be looking to the sideline, and there'd be 2.5 minutes left, and the Colts or the Chargers back in the day would have to get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and Rivers would ultimately come up to some third down play, and then that would be the end of it. So yeah, that's exciting football. I'm happy to see all of that this weekend. With that said, let's get to the picks. Now, this year we're going to do the same thing that we've done in years past. We're going to pick games. You're going to pick the games. I'm not going to pick a game out for you. I'm not going to get tricky on you like that. You're going to pick the 3 games that you feel the most confident in because we want you to make good picks here. But as you have talked a little bit about to me before the podcast, and I'm going to ask you to try to explain it to the folks as best you can, player prop bets are really blowing up an awful lot this year, and you say that that's an opportunity because of the way the odds work. Why don't you explain a little bit of that, Mr. Williams?
Yeah, so the betting market for the regular games and the totals, they get hit super early in the week, maybe even Sunday night for the next week, and so you'll see lines move. And so sometimes, as a casual bettor, maybe you're not making the bet till Sunday morning when you wake up, and you're going to get the worst line. So there's been a lot of sharp people kind of transition over to making player prop bets, and a lot of the times taking unders on those player prop bets because a lot of casual fans like to take the over. They like to root for a lot of things, a lot of passing yards, a lot of rushing yards, a lot of touchdowns. So there's value in taking the unders a lot of the times. Not necessarily you don't have to take the overs. There is some value in some overs, but when you bet on these player prop markets, the sports books have a cap on those markets, on those bets. So those lines don't move as frequently as, say, the regular NFL lines and the games or the totals. So you can really have a better winning percentage just betting on player props. I know it's not as sexy or as exciting. I mean, when you're betting on somebody's rushing attempts, under 6.5 or something like that, but trust me, it's more profitable in the long run on these player props.
All right, I love that. That's a great explanation for it. And so to that end, what we are going to do, you said the player props are not nearly as sexy. And as much as I love me some Chris King, people would describe him as not nearly as sexy as me. So I will take the sexy game picks with you, and I will keep track of the games that you were picking each week against the spread. And then you and Mr. King will dive into player prop bets. And Chris, you will be keeping track of the player prop bets and maybe making a player prop bet yourself each week as we go along. Does that sound agreeable to you, Mr. King?
Roger that.
All right, then. Mr. Williams, give us your first game. Here we go, week 1. We're not doing Thursday night this week. We may come at you on a Thursday night if you ever like a Thursday night game, but as of right now, we don't pay too much attention to Thursday night games, so most of your picks will come from either not Saturday, but Sunday or Sunday night, maybe even Monday.
Yeah, and this first pick, I promise you it's not bias, but I'm going to go with the Saints plus 3.5. I think it's minus 110 on FanDuel is the best number you can find. And listen, this game is not a home game for the Saints. It's being played in Jacksonville, so it's a neutral site game. So you're thinking, why are you picking the Saints on a neutral site game? Remember what we saw last year, a Midwestern team that you're familiar with, go down to Jacksonville.
Can't believe you're doing this to me. I can't believe you're doing this to me.
Go down to Jacksonville in week 1 and play in the humidity. Now, that is a huge thing. Now we're getting another Midwestern team going down to Jacksonville, playing in the humidity. Listen, Jameis is 7-14-1 against the spread as a favorite. You don't bet Jameis when they're a favorite. You bet Jameis when he's a dog. He's 17-10-1 against the spread as an underdog.
And he's back home in Florida. He's back home in Florida. He played in Florida State, come on.
There you go. He's back home in Florida. Bakhtiari isn't going to play, the best pass blocking offensive lineman, offensive tackle for the Packers. And Lindsley is no longer on the team. A really top-notch center for the Packers. And Sean Payton is an absolute beast against the spread as an underdog in his career. He's 31-13-2. Like I said, the Packers are starting 2 rookies on the interior of that offensive line. This is a good Saints pressure defense. We mentioned that in the last pod. And the Saints still have a good offensive line. You can run on this pack D. You can also attack their linebackers with targeting running backs out of the backfield. I think Peyton is going to use more 21 personnel in this game with a little Taysom and possibly a little Tony Jones. Shout out to the Irish running back there. And so I just think when you give a mastermind like Sean Payton the whole offseason to prepare for a team like the Packers have an awesome secondary, but their weakness is the linebackers. I think Payton is going to go for it a lot on 4th down in this game. I like the Saints plus 3.5 for all those reasons.
All right, I got a question for you here, Chris. Our dear friend Matt Kozerski, a.k.a. Wu-Tang, loves to come on here all the time and talk about vibes and organization and how people are getting along, and that's one of his favorite things to talk about. And shout out to our guy Wu dealing with some quarantine issues up there in Wisconsin. Are you going to be interested to see how the Packers respond in week 1? Are you going to be kind of looking on the sidelines, seeing how Aaron goes back and forth with his teammates to see if there's any residuals from everything that went down this offseason?
Yeah, I'm going to be paying a little bit of attention to that. I have seen a few of his interviews, especially on the Pat McAfee show, that he does quite often. And I know it's only his side that we're hearing necessarily, but it seems to be pretty good. I mean, he is an NFL MVP, Super Bowl winner. Who wouldn't want him on their team? I think that there are probably more questions on the other side of that game with the Saints and who they have under center.
Yeah, but I'm not going to let you bash Jameis any longer on this podcast, all right? Jameis is now the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. We're going to let Jameis ride. I'm going to roll with Jameis, root for Jameis. I love me some Jameis. Now, Chris, one thing I wanted to throw in here, if any of your props that you're interested in come up with a game we talk about, let's just go ahead and do those now. So any prop you like in this game, or can we move on to the next game?
We can move on to the next game.
All right, Mr. Williams, your pick number 2 for week 1.
All right, we've seen some sharp money come in on this game. I'm going to take New England -3 at home against the Dolphins. I think it's -120 now on DK. They did start out at -2.5. They have a massive edge on both sides of the ball here. Miami has a bottom 5 offensive line, and New England is getting all those guys back off their defense. I think there's 5 or 6 total guys off the COVID list from last year that are going to be on this Patriots defense from this year. It's really going to strengthen the rush defense, and Miami already has a tough time rushing the ball. And listen,
Mr. Wiggs, can I pause you here real quick?
Yeah.
I have a question for you. And you're probably going to get to it because you're good. But I know from doing podcasts with you now that you're big on coaching, okay? And you're talking about defensive players coming back, and I know that means big for the Patriots. But the coach for Miami used to be the defensive coordinator up there in New England. So, I mean, do you give any credence to the fact that he's going to sort of know what to do?
Yeah, and that is a worrisome with Brian Flores. I think he's a top 10 coach in the league, and these two teams know each other pretty well. I just think that Tua is coming off an injury, basically COVID year for him. This is basically still a rookie year for Tua, and we know that Bill Belichick is fantastic in his defensive schemes versus rookie/young QBs. They're playing at home. I just think they're going to have the crowd. I think they're going to make Miami one-dimensional. What does Bill Belichick do the best? He makes teams beat you left-handed. And ironically, Tua is one of the first left-handed quarterbacks in the league in the last probably 15 years.
I was just about to go there.
Yeah, I just don't think Miami has enough offensively. I think this is a grungy, dirty game where the Patriots might win like 20-10, 2013, 2016, something like that.
What's weird for me about Tua, right? Because his name is just flowing and beautiful, and he played at Alabama, and he seems like he'd be an athletic quarterback, and he was just firing all these deep balls. But I think he's more of a gritty, gutty, dirty kind of QB. Chris, where are you at with Tua Tagovailoa here and going into his second year, aka sort of shadow rookie year?
I think he is ready for a breakout season, and you're kind of right, Williams, that this is kind of still his rookie season, but he's had those off seasons, those training camps that do help a lot. I think it's going to be more like a sophomore season. He's going to understand the game is going to slow down for him a little bit. I think it's going to be a lot better for him. It does suck for him that he has to go up against Bill Belichick first game of the year. But I expect Tua to still be the best quarterback that came out of that draft class with, who was it, Burrow and a couple other people.
Wow, better than Burrow even. Williams has got him for leading the passing this year. Mr. Williams, let's touch real quick, as much as I despise New England, let's touch real quick on what you think we're going to see out of Mac Jones.
Oh, I love Mac Jones. He is super, super, super accurate. He reads defenses very quickly. I know he doesn't look athletic, but he's very smart.
Doesn't look athletic is an understatement. That guy's got a dad bod.
I know. But, I just think that the Patriots are going to build a defense around this guy. He's got 3 really good running backs that is going to take pressure off of him, plus James White out of the backfield. I'm not even including James White in that. He's got 3 really good rushing running backs. I just think that everything – and he's got a great top 5 offensive line. Everything is in place for Mac Jones to succeed, and I think he's more underrated already than what people give him credit for, just because he's not athletic and that he can't, run all over the place like Trevor Lawrence. And
all right. Goodness gracious, Chris. Hopefully, you're going to throw some cold water on this Patriots love fest. Goodness gracious.
Well, one of the better prop bets I found for this week 1 actually does involve the Patriots.
Okay.
And I thought this was a great bet to take. It's Damian Harrison getting a touchdown. He is now going to be the lead back, essentially. You don't have Cam Newton snaking carries inside the 10 and the 5-yard line like he did last year. There's no Sony Michel. There's no White. It's Damian Harris's. He's ready to take over. There's going to be a lot of those types of runs opening up this year and a lot of touchdowns to get in New England. I think it's a good bet for him to score week 1.
Nice. All right. What do you think of that, Mr. Williams? Chris comes out with this first player prop, Damian Harris to get a touchdown.
Absolutely love it. I've got Damian Harris on my season-long fantasy team, and the reason that I picked him is that Cam Newton had 21 carries inside the 5-yard line last year. He's no longer there. Yes, they have that Ramondre Stevenson in the backfield who looks like he's going to be an awesome goal line back. But
yeah, that guy looks the part, man. I've seen pictures of that dude.
As of right now, Damian Harris, I think he could get double-digit touchdowns this year just because of that offensive line and how good the defense is going to be. They're going to be in spots where Damian Harris is going to get a lot of goal line carries. So I love that pick. And honestly, Miami's defensive line is not great either. So I love that pick.
All right, that's enough New England. We're not doing any more on New England. I don't even care if you have another player prop. We're moving on. Williams, give us your third and final pick for week 1.
All right, this is crazy. This really has this is probably the football pick that has less to do with football than any other pick that I've had previous. And let me explain why. I'm taking on Monday night. I'm taking the Vegas Raiders plus 4.5 on FanDuel. Make sure you get this on FanDuel. because they're plus 4.5 on FanDuel. They're only plus 3.5 on DK. Everybody and their mother is going to be on Baltimore. That's going to be the square pick. I get it. They rolled through the preseason. But this one is simple for me. There's simply something weird going on in Baltimore. I mentioned it before. They've now lost 3 out of their top 4 running backs on the roster for the year. That is unheard of. You've got Lamar coming off COVID, and you've got a Vegas fan base that is ready to lose their minds on Monday Night Football at Allegiant Stadium. There are rumors that there's going to be a lot of very influential people at this game. This has been
like Wayne Newton. We're talking like Wayne Newton.
There's people are very important in that city that have invested into this team, and they want to put on a monster show for the fans. They want to make them believe that they invested wisely in those season tickets, those very expensive season tickets, may I add. This has, from what I've researched, this has been made abundantly clear to John Gruden. So, look, we saw Vegas come out and ball out last year in primetime versus the Saints and the Chiefs last year. When I take a dog, I want them to be super focused. And I think Vegas is going to be super focused on this game. Why can't they do it again versus a severely banged up Ravens team traveling cross country? I like the Raiders. It doesn't make any sense, but sometimes in the NFL in Vegas, you have to go against the grain. This doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to take Vegas plus 4.5 on Monday night.
Okay, let's hope that they figured out some of the bugs with the cashless payment system and the restrooms that plagued SummerSlam, which was an absolute banger of a pay-per-view event held at the Raiders' home Allegiant Stadium just a few weeks ago. Chris, we've got you down for Damian Harris touchdown. Is there any other prop that you want to get out there? And then Mr. Williams, we'll let you get a couple props if you've got a few.
The only other one I thought was a good one for this week one was up in Minnesota. There is a receiver there named Justin Jefferson. They are going up against the Bengals. I have no faith in the Bengals defensive backs. So I would say Justin Jefferson over 79.5 receiving yards at negative 118. I think that's a good bet.
All right. So Justin Jefferson over 79.5 yards for the Vikings, and Damian Harris scores a touchdown. Those are Mr. King's props to pay. Mr. Williams, how about you?
Yeah, I love that prop for Justin Jefferson because Eli Apple was actually cut off 2 different teams last year, and he's going to be starting for Cincinnati. That's not a good look when you have to go up against Justin Jefferson. And
things have fallen hard for that guy. Wasn't he a high draft pick just a few years ago?
Yeah. So I'll start off with a sexy one. I'll take Calvin Ridley over 78.5 receiving yards. He hit this in 5 of 7 games without Julio last season, exceeding 110 yards in each of those 5. His yard share from Matty Ice in those games was 43%. Now, I'm super high on Kyle Pitts for the season, and he will eat into that. But he'll also take coverage off of Ridley. In games with Julio last season, Ridley's yard share was 24%. Matt Ryan's yardage line is implied at 290. We'd only need a 27% yard share at that number. So basically, there's a massive cushion here. And as for the Eagles, who they're playing, they allowed 10 receivers to exceed this line last year. Ridley is likely to match up with Darius Slay, who was victimized by elite receivers last year, Metcalf and Devontae Adams from last season. So Slay allowed the 30th most yards per coverage snap last season. That's of 134 quarterbacks with 150 plus coverage snaps. So yeah, the lines are all meshing up for Calvin Ridley to have a really good game on Sunday against the Eagles.
All right, so you got Ridley over 75.5 yards. You got Justin Jefferson over 79.5 yards, and Damian Harris scoring a touchdown. So as Mr. Williams said, the value is in playing the unders, and so we of course just hammered overs.
I got one under for you. I'll go Aaron Jones under 16.5 rushing attempts. I'm projecting Aaron Jones to have a decrease in rushing volume with the emergence of A.J. Dillon this year. But I expect an increase in receiving volume from Aaron Jones. He actually did not hit this number in 11 of 14 games last year that he played in. And I'm also projecting this to be a close game. Maybe the Packers have to play from behind. They're going to look to throw to Aaron Jones more than actually give him the rock to rush it. So I like Aaron Jones under 16.5 rushing attempts.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of backs in the league anymore that consistently get over 16.5 touches.
Yeah, it's definitely running back by committee across the NFL these days. And one last thing we're going to do every week, you guys did not know this, and this is just going to be a treat for everybody. But every week, I'm going to give you the Hot Rod Upset Special, all right? And for the Hot Rod Upset Special of week 1, we're going to afternoon games, and we are going to the Cleveland Browns v. the Kansas City Chiefs. The Browns are getting 5. You don't need it because they're going to beat the Chiefs outright. Boom. Patrick Mahomes, who Cleveland shows the NFL that they are here and ready and upsets Kansas City week 1. That's the Hot Rod Upset Special for week 1. Williams, you had no idea that was coming. Your thoughts?
I didn't. I love it. I'm almost, as someone who picked Cleveland to make the Super Bowl, I'm almost hoping that they lose this game because I feel like they could match up with KC in the AFC Championship game, and I just want that like revenge factor from week 1. But like I said before, I think Cleveland matches up really well with KC, and I think that could be a good pick.
Chris, I heard you moaning. What do you got?
If Cleveland wants to do this, they just got to ground and pound it and keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hand, right? I mean, it's going to be the Chubb and Hunt
and blitz
show.
the quarterback, which they can also do both pretty well. And Williams, I hear what you're saying about the revenge factor, but what if they win this game and then they are tied? Wouldn't they love to have that game in the dog pound? So I'm going Browns.
For sure. Yeah. They play an easy schedule this year too. Cleveland does. So
the only thing against my upset special pick is that Baker Mayfield's the quarterback of the Browns. That's the only thing that goes against me.
Hey, once Stefanski got in there and started running heavy formations and bootlegs off the left, that's when Baker succeeded. And he actually had the highest ADOT off of bootlegs to the left last year, throwing across his body. So Stefanski puts him in situations where he's going to succeed. Now they had to just get Freddie Soup Kitchens out of there, man. I mean, come on, you can't be blaming Baker for Freddie Soup Kitchens.
Your guy, you loved you some Freddie Kitchens that year that he was on the Browns. You found a reason to bring up Kitchens every week.
He was terrible. He was so bad.
Oh, those were good days, Mr. King. I'm going to give you every week as well a chance for just your final thoughts as we are getting ready to wrap the pod here.
Listen, it is week 1 of the NFL season. Anything can happen. The Browns can beat the Chiefs. The Cowboys could beat the Pats.
No, they can't.
I was going to say the Bengals could even win. It's the NFL on any given Sunday. Anything can happen. Enjoy it, folks. It's back.
Absolutely. Listen to Jimmy and I chopping up wrestling on Monday. Then we will be back next week with picks. Next week will be just NBA, but then 2 weeks from now, not NBA, excuse me. I always have NBA on the brain. It will be just NFL next week. 2 weeks from now, we'll of course still do our picks with Williams, and we'll give you props and all of that. But we're also going to be talking some Ryder Cup a couple weeks from now, so that'll be a little side dish to the football. And then a few weeks after that, NBA training camps. That's why I had NBA on the brain. Mr. K, can you believe it? We're going to be talking NBA again before too long. I'm so excited.
I'm surprised we haven't talked NBA that much this summer, considering this is your podcast.
I know, and it's like me to bring up NBA right after you guys were just celebrating NFL Week 1, right? But that just proves where my head's always at. But I did enjoy this Week 1 special, Mr. Williams. As always, thank you for the picks and the work, and we will talk to you next week, my friend.
Thanks, man. We're only 2 months away from some college basketball. Let's go.
There we go. Everybody's getting
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm surprised Chris didn't want to bring up the baseball playoffs, and I'm going to end this podcast before he gets a chance to do it.
Shohei MVP.
There it is. All right. You have been listening to Balls and Brew. Thank you so much. You find us on the Morgan You Know Podcast Network. Do us a favor. Recommend it to your friends. Give us a comment every once in a while. We really are interested to try to drive up some listenership here with Mr. Williams doing all this good football work. So help us out. Leave a comment. Tell a friend. Listen. It's absolutely free. That's all we ask you to do. Mr. King, final word to you.
Goodbye, Internet.